Today we talked about decimal number lines. In particular, what is in between whole numbers on a number line. This first number line starts with the number 2. The number 2 is a whole number. When we learn how to count in pre-K or kindergarten, we know that 3 comes after 2. But there are decimals in between these two whole numbers. Each line you see counts by tenths. So after 2, we have 2 and 1/10. Then we have 2 and 2/10. Then we have 2 and 3/10. So on and so forth, all the way until we get to 3. Every time you see a number line on a word problem, you need to redraw it. That will help us make sure that we know the value of each place. After you draw it, make sure that you label it. So I'm almost done. I'm at 2 and 8/10, 2 and 9/10. We also talked about what's in between each of these lines. You may see a question that asks you where is 2 and 15 hundredths on a number line. If you look at all of the numbers, you will notice that there's no 15. It stops at 9. But each of these decimals has a decimal that's equivalent. 2 and 1/10 is the same thing as 2 and 10 hundredths. 2 and 2/10 is the same thing as 2 and 20 hundredths. If you add a 0, it has the same value. It's just cut into smaller pieces. So if I wanted to know where 2 and 15 hundredths is, I need to figure out what two numbers 15 is in between. 15 would be in between 2 and 10 hundredths and 2 and 20 hundredths. When you start with a number line, you need to look at what the numbers are. This one started with 2 and 3, but we could not go to this number line and start writing 2 and 1/10 because this number line starts with 6. So every time you see a number line, make sure you look at the beginning of it so you know where to start. You would label this number line just like the previous one, except for you would have 6 and 1/10, 6 and 2/10, so on and so forth. Now, let's look at some questions that have to do with fractions on a number line. This question says, Marcy saw this number line in class. Which shaded section has the same value as n? First thing you need to do is draw out this number line. After you draw it, you need to label the number line so you can see what each line represents. So we'll start off on the first 9. I'll try to write nice and small. We have 1/10. We have 2/10. We have 3/10. We have 4/10. And then I'm not going to keep going because this n is in between 4/10 and 5/10. Because this n is not on a line, it cannot represent a tenth. It is in between 2/10. So I'm going to eliminate answer choice C and answer choice D because these represent tenths. If it was on a line, then I would know it would be tenths. To figure out what two numbers is in between, I'm going to add my 0 to find what hundredth is equivalent. So I have 40 hundredths and I have 50 hundredths. So I am looking for the answer choice that is in between 40 and 50. If I count out A, I'm going to end up with 45 hundredths. And if I add up B, I'm going to add and get 55 hundredths. If I am looking for the answer choice that is in between 40 and 50, I know that 55 is too big, so B is eliminated. The correct answer would be A. We are going to look at one more example together. And then, if you still have questions, you can join my office hours tomorrow if you do not do well on your independent practice. A student placed a point on this number line. Which fraction represents the point marked on this number line? So if we take a look at this point, it is not on a line. It's almost on 3/10, but not quite. If you look at all of our answer choices all have the number 27. So we can guess that this represents 27 something. So if we take a look at D, this can be eliminated because this is a whole number. 27 over 1 is the same thing as 27. This represents a decimal that is less than 1. 27 is greater than 1. It is too big. If I have 27 over 27, that is equivalent to 1. Our point is less than 1, so C can be eliminated. If we take a look at B, we have 27 over 10. This is an improper fraction. 10 can go into 27 at least 2 times. So that already tells me that whatever my answer is going to be bigger than 2. We know that this point is less than 1, so B can be eliminated. That only leaves A, 27 hundredths. 27 hundredths is the correct answer. A would be correct. Please feel free to join office hours tomorrow if you have any questions. Please make sure you finish your independent work first so I know what I can help you with. All right.